Okay, Rosemary just got her minivan back yesterday, so we'd like to congratulate her for her patience in receiving her minivan. You know, it was a long, tedious process. There's several videos online or on my YouTube channel that you could see the work that was going on. It's not a tutorial. It wasn't showing blow by blow what it was going on, but I was showing the different stages of the engine on what it had to do to be set right. So now we're working on Rosa's 2005 Rosa Cruz's 2005 uh, Honda Accord. She brought it on, letting me know that the engine just shut off on her. Uh, the fans were blowing kind of excessively, and trying to figure out what's going on. I brought it in last night. As you can see, on charging the battery. The battery was dead. So right now I'm charging the battery to just give it some juice, and we'll get it running here in a bit. But I did see something that caught my attention when I was looking through the fans, and you can see on this fan all the blue dried up antifreeze that's on the fan itself. So I'm like, oh dear, I'm gonna check to see what's going on with that. So I took off the radiator fans or electric fans to give me some more room so I can stick the camera down there and show what was going on. I took the cap off. It had no water in it. I got water in it now. Now, to let you know, what I did was I have a picture here of a gallon of water, and I filled it up all the way to the gallon right there. And I wanted to measure how much water this thing took before it came up to the neck. So I filled it all the way up, and once I filled it up, I found out where all the leaks are coming from. So you can see here, it's still leaking right now. It's coming out right there. And if you look all the way down, you can also see a spot down there where it's leaking. And if you come all the way down over here, you can see all the bottom of the radiator is totally rotten. Oh. So I just wanted to get you a full visual of how it looks down there. So this radiator has to be changed out. You can also see that up here, well, it got wet, but there was a leak here that was coming from the actual cap itself. So it needs a new cap with the radiator. So that was the overheating problem. And give me a second, I'll get this focused. Okay, so we already know what the overheating problem is. It also has a charging problem. That was the reason why it died. I'm charging the battery up right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to test it when we get it running. And I'm going to test it at the battery and at the alternator, just to make sure it's not a bad wire from the alternator to the battery. And then we're going to show you the readings on that. Keep in mind that on the test of the voltage, it should be anywhere 14.6 or above 14. Anything below that, the alternator is not charging its full potential, and it's just got enough to keep the car going, barely, and it doesn't have enough to charge the battery, so it's just straight draining the battery. So I'm gonna put that on video also once I get it running. And so it's got a radiator cap problem, radiator problem, an alternator problem, and also I wanted to show you that humming noise that you're hearing that's kind of loud. On Hondas, this hose right here cracks all the time because I can feel this one. It's so hard, if I squeeze it hard enough, it'll probably crack it, split it, and the oil will come out. But on here you can see, let me see if I can get it in there, that the hose is leaking at the reservoir. And you can see another hose right there. That's also just as hard, and it has to be changed out. That hose goes from here Let's see if I can show it. It starts from here and goes to a line right there. You can see the clamp. I don't know if you can see the clamp. Yeah. So you can see the clamp right there. So that hose is pretty short. And then this one that's leaking goes from here to up here on the power steering. So those two hoses are going to have to replace to stop that humming sound, or else it's eventually going to wipe out your power steering unit, and then you'll have to get a power steering unit. Right now the problem is probably a $40 to $50 problem. You know, that's how much the hoses are, because these are only dealership hoses. AutoZone or O'Reilly's don't carry these type of hoses already molded. I mean, they do, but for specific cars. This car, in that case, I've had experience with it before, and they don't carry those. So we're going to have to replace those two hoses on the power steering unit, and I will get you an estimate on that. And there was another thing. I don't know if I can show it to you, but down there you can see how the upper timing cover, you see right here, is all dry, and the lower timing cover down there is wet. That's telling me you got a leaking oil seal in your timing cover area. That one I didn't worry too much about it yet. I would get these other things taken care of: the radiator cap, alternator, and power steering hoses. And then on the next visit, we'll schedule in on the next visit, and we'll have to investigate on which oil seal is leaking. It could be a cam oil seal up here leaking all the way down, but I think it's a crankshaft seal. But I was under the car, and it is wet under the oil pan. And also, all that antifreeze that was leaking out of the radiator, you can see is all down the bottom of the oil pan and dried up. So my recommendation is take care of the alternator, radiator, and power steering first, and then the oil seal next. We'll check your oil. And let me see, I'm going to pull the dipstick out right now. I'm going to dry it off. And I'm going to check the oil. If the oil level is fine, then we got time to take care of that other problem on your next visit. What I'm trying to do is just document how much oil is in there. Wow, it needs oil. This poor car. It's only right there at the tip of the... See if I can focus it. You can see where it's only at the tip of the dipstick. And I wiped it off before I stuck it in there. So we're going to have to get a couple quarts of oil. That way it's still safe. And it can be driven around until we can get it in for the second appointment to do whatever it is we got to do in there. As far as that, since I don't know what's going on in there in the timing area, we're going to have to do an exploratory surgery. So, but that can come at a later time. We'll just have to monitor. Whenever you park at home, just slide a cardboard underneath it so we can monitor to see how much oil is being dripped during the evening. And go from there. So, I'm gonna stop my video so I can set myself up for the alternator testing, so you can see how much voltage is being pumped out of the alternator while it had the battery charged. So the battery's already gonna be charged at 12 volts. So the alternator should be bumping it up to 14.6 volts, or between 14 volts and 14.6 will be fine. So we'll see what the alternator is pushing at. And like I said, we're gonna check it at the battery, and then I'm going to check it at the alternator itself to see if there's if I get two different deals. I can have a 5 millivolt drop, because that's the resistance from here to there. But any more than that, like a whole volt or so, it's gonna be the wire from here to there. Or if I have 12 volts coming out of here, then I know that this is bad. Okay, so let me set myself up for that, and I'll catch that on video. And we'll go from there. Okay, I got the car running, the battery connected. I had to put a screwdriver there because that terminal is not very good. It's pretty worn out and it's not tightening all the way. So I'm recommending that terminal get changed. Okay, so now the engine's running. We're going to test the battery. Oh, that's a millivolt. So the battery is charging 13.27. When this alternator warms up, it drops to 12 point something. So what I'm going to do is leave the connector on the probe so we can monitor how much voltage gets dropped. So the longer I keep it running, that voltage should be dropping more. And you can hear this noise, that whirling sound. That's caused by the hose sucking in air. That's what I'm saying, if it doesn't get changed, it'll wear out the power steering pump and destroy it. And there's also a rattling sound. I'm not really sure what that is. It sounds like it's in the timing belt area. It may have something to do with that oil leak down there at the bottom. Check the power steering fluid. It seems to have enough at the level it should be at. But it's not losing oil. I mean, it's seeping out a little bit when you shut the car off, but what it's doing is sucking in air, kind of like a broken straw when you're drinking a soda, you're sucking in bubbles and stuff. That's why it makes that humming sound. So you can already tell it's already dropping. It was at 13.28, now it's 13.17. So I'm going to let it run for a bit and see if the voltage drops even further. Okay, I kind of see what's going on. I forgot that I had charged the battery, to pretty much its full potential. And so you're seeing the battery voltage on the multimeter. And little by little it's dropping down because it's not being supplied the full 12 volts. So what I'm going to do is disconnect the battery side if the car shuts off, and you can see it's going lower and lower. It's going back and forth, 14-15, then I'll go 14-13, then 13-12. Let's see if it gets to 13-12. There it goes, 13-12 here and there. So when I disconnect this battery, it's either going to run on the 12 volts that's being supplied by the alternator, or it's going to shut off. So I'm going to see if I can get it down to 13 first, just to prove that it's being drained. Remember, it started out at 28. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch disconnect the negative cable and see if it shuts off. Yep, there it is there. No alternator. And see, now that I got it plugged in, I got 12.5 volts on my battery still. So the battery's still pretty strong, but it's only running off the battery. So that's my determination on this video. Needs an alternator, radiator cap, 2 power steering hoses, and exploratory surgery on what's that rattling sound. Sounds like it's coming from the timing belt area. Not good. Okay, thank you for watching my video. I hope this helps clear up what your problems are, and my explanation on why it's doing what it is. So we'll see you guys in a bit. Gilbert for Galvin Automotive is out.